Welcome, my friends, to today's episode. Now, before we jump in, let me preface by saying that you can do anything with any piece of equipment, depending on how far your technical prowess and your resourcefulness go. The Go Keys 5 is looked at as a hobbyist keyboard, a baby keyboard. But I want you to remember that I have released one track that was created entirely on the Go Keys 5. Sounds were added from a live saxophone loop and percussion. Other than that, the entire background came from the Go Keys. You can find that piece of music if you search for Go Keys Breeze. It's on Spotify, Apple, and everywhere music is sold. With that said, let's jump into this critique and comparison of Go Keys 5 and the JUNO D. Hello, my awesome keyboardists, my friends in music. Today, I'm going to be talking about the JUNO D versus the Go Keys. And you do realize when I give these reviews, I am giving them from a more working keyboardist kind of point of view. I don't get into as much of the technicalities of stuff. I try to keep it as simple as possible, and that's what I am going to do today. Now, my first rodeo with the JUNO D versus Go Keys 5. The JUNO D gives me an option of weighted keys. So I have the JUNO D 88 keys. What a pleasure to be able to play an 88 key weighted keyboard. It has the box notes, but it also has the weight. And that's where it shines in terms of the playability for the pianist. Because as a pianist, you want to play those non-weighted keys. You want something weighted. So right out of the gate, the JUNO D gives an option that Go Keys does not. The JUNO D, in terms of the sound engine and quality, from my experience in this limited 1 hour, I can tell you that it features a much more sophisticated sound engine. It's capable of polyphony that the Go Keys could only dream of. The Go Keys, you can stack a couple of sounds, maybe 4 at best if you're crafty with it and you're able to use a layered sound as the lower and a layered sound as the upper. But the JUNO D, it definitely has a richer, higher end sound palette. Now, let's not forget that Go Keys can bring in sounds from the cloud. So if you look at the sounds the Go Keys can bring in from the cloud, there really is not such a groundbreaking difference. But in terms of the sound engine through which those sounds are played on the JUNO D, it does make a difference. It has this expressive and professional grade patches right out of the gate, making it not that necessary to download from the Roland Cloud. Go Keys is very little match for the JUNO D without the cloud to amplify what you can do in the Go Keys. So, in my mind, compared to the Go Keys, the JUNO D is more suitable for live performances, for you to stack sounds and layer sounds. The other thing about the JUNO D is you have more firepower when it comes to sound customization. The JUNO D offers extensive sound editing capabilities. I mean, I didn't even get into half of what it can do. It allows you as a user to modify and customize tones with quite detailed parameters. In fact, the amount of parameters that the JUNO D has kind of made me tap out and say, okay, this has a lot of firepower. It gives musicians much more control over their sound design. On the Go Keys, you already know that that is quite limited. The other thing about the JUNO D is its performance features. It has performance-oriented features like pitch bend and mod. Mod, as you know, is absent on the Go Keys. So having those two, it just gives you as a musician more expressive playing, better control over the dynamics during a performance. The preset and patch library is extensive. It's much richer, and it gives musicians access to a much wider range of high-quality sounds. This is not taking away anything from other Roland products, but the pianos, the strings, the synth, And they come with a flavor, a background flavor of good taste reverb. Very good taste reverb. And while the Go Keys is great, this just gives you more expressive control and a wider palette. Regarding connectivity and MIDI control, this is where it blows the Go Keys out of the water, because JUNO D offers more advanced connectivity options. Like I plugged in my laptop to the JUNO D using the USB-C, and it was very straightforward. When I played the sequence from JUNO D, I could immediately begin to map the MIDI channels to my DAW. Now, if you were using the Go Keys, I've already shown you, it's almost like a dumb terminal. It gives you one MIDI output. That is highly limiting. So when we talk about the JUNO D, you need to be thinking about full MIDI input and output and control capabilities, and that makes it suitable for integrating with other musical equipment and DAWs. And the other cool thing about the JUNO D, it has a traditional, the native MIDI in and out. That the Go Keys does not. The Go Keys 5 has more basic connectivity, making it less versatile for professional setups. When it comes to the build and the design, the JUNO D is built with a more, you could say, a more professional look. It actually does look a little bit more intimidating, I'll say that right off the bat. I am all about simple design, but looking at the JUNO D, it looks more serious. It features these buttons and controls, you could say, and the compartmentalization of the controls is very well suited for gigging. Like on the left, you got the categories of things that you would immediately look for on stage. On the right, what I quite like about the categories that it presents is a very quick way of you getting into each category without having to click on the more button. Like in Go Keys, you have to click on more and you have to keep hunting and hunting. It's almost like a task, like going uphill, just trying to put everything you need at your fingertips. But with the JUNO D, it has 16 categories for you to compartmentalize stuff, and it's already done for you. You've got the pianos, the EPs, and so on, and just on and on. The Go Key stops at 5. You have 16 in JUNO D. So while Go Keys is lightweight and portable, it's more for someone who may not need as much changeability midstream in live play. For the JUNO D, if you were on stage and you needed to switch quick from strings to brass to piano and so on, there's so many ways of you having these sound configurations at your fingertips. So I quite understand that. For me, the reason why I got my Go Keys was not to gig, it was to have fun. But if you're a gigging musician and you want a keyboard that is like a good backdrop keyboard or main keyboard, it's definitely worth considering, and the price is not bad. And moreover, you can also bring in sounds from Cloud Connect anyway. The comprehensive interface that I was talking about, the left and the right and the middle, it just provides you as a player with dedicated knobs, sliders, buttons that allow for quick adjustment and live performance tweaks. And it makes it easier for musicians to make those real-time changes on the fly in a live situation. The expanded polyphony is just awesome for you to be able to stack sounds, stack tons of sounds. Is just amazing. And as far as the professional application, for Go Keys, nice for people who do not have to play in a very demanding live stage setting. For those who are experienced, you could get by in a non-demanding live situation with the Go Keys, but the JUNO D, in my mind, is more suited for experienced musicians who are looking for detailed sound customization, a professional build, and advanced performance features. In contrast, the Go Keys 5 is a good choice for beginners, is a good choice for casual players, and even for people like me who are professionals but want to have fun when they jam, right? I showed this in my last live. I did a live a few days ago, and I just showed, hey, this is how to have fun with the Go keys, knock yourself out with the sounds, the styles, and the overall integration of stuff. I even showed how the microphone could be used. So I'm not knocking Go Keys 5. I love my Go Keys 5. So let me balance up the equation for those of you Go Keys 5 and 3 fans. Let's balance up the equation. So let's talk about the advantages of Go Keys 5 over JUNO D. Okay, so number one, I would say the ease of use and the beginner-friendly features. Go Keys 5 is designed with simplicity and ease of mind, making it very easy for you, the player, to begin jamming on it. I actually have a 40-minute here's all you can do on the keyboard. It's very easy to exhaust the capabilities of Go Keys 5, and that's not a knock on Go Keys. That's actually a plus, depending on the audience, right? So its intuitive interface, it just allows you to start making music quickly without a steep learning curve. The JUNO D, while it's powerful, it could be quite complex for beginners, even for seasoned musicians like myself. I could not run circles around the JUNO D on my first rodeo, not at all. The second advantage, I would say, in Go Keys is the ability for you to create music just using the auto chords and the styles, and for it to just loop. You know, you can just keep looping that style over and over again with chords that you select. You could call it a loop mix functionality. With just a few clicks, I was not able to replicate that on the JUNO D. So that whole fingered performance that you pick from a stock pile of chords, I was not able to do that on the JUNO D. It's not immediately accessible the way it is on Go Keys 5. The other cool thing about Go Keys 5 is it allows you, of course, to connect the Bluetooth functionality. So that kind of levels it up a little bit to stream music to your device. And, you know, while the JUNO D is awesome, when it comes to the Bluetooth capabilities to be able to immediately project out of inbuilt speakers, you cannot do that on JUNO D. JUNO D does not have built-in speakers. So the ability to just right there in your living room throw this keyboard in the back of your vehicle, you don't need anything else. You don't need any amplification. No, the JUNO D, you need amplification for that. You need speakers. So when you're taking a look at both keyboards, understand that they have different purposes. The Go Keys is all about being portable and lightweight. It's highly portable, and that is such a massive plus. Now, I know that the JUNO D can draw on power, you know, drawn from an external bank, not necessarily full-on electric power from the mains, but Go Keys 5, it's battery power. You cannot beat that. You can play Go Keys 5 in traffic. You can play it on the street, and you don't need to lug around a power bank. You can just do it with the inbuilt functionality for batteries. Again, the functionality of speakers is crazy. It just makes it more robust. And let's not forget the price point. Let's take a look at the price point of Go Keys 5 and compare that to the JUNO D. So you know that the Go Keys series has got two options. And I know I'm saying 5 a lot, but remember you have Go Keys 3. And if you compare the price point of $349 of Go Keys 3, compare that to the starting point for the JUNO D. The JUNO D starts at $899. Now, honestly, that's not a lot of money. To be honest, it's not bad at $899. But you gotta remember that that is double and a little bit compared to the Go Keys 3. Even if you're comparing it to the Go Keys 5, it's almost double the Go Keys 5 at $899. And some folks, that differential of $349 versus $899 makes a world of a difference. So some people are probably going to stick to their Go Keys 3 They are going to tap into the world of the clouds for Roland Cloud Connect, but they're not going to get carried away to buy another keyboard. Okay, so while in my opinion, I think it's a great price, but not everyone shares that sentiment. The Go Keys, the JUNO D6, it starts at $899. The D7 is about $1,149, and the D8, which I featured in my video, is $1,299. Again, we're talking about a brand new keyboard with a lot of firepower. Zen Core engine, 3800 sounds there on board. USB-C audio. Hello, Yamaha didn't get that memo with the JUNOs. Plus many other great features. You can't beat that. It's very well priced, and I want to applaud Roland and not being greedy. They could have priced it a lot higher, and I think the prices are good. Even though for the layman, for the beginner, the price point may not be as advantageous, but when it comes to the Go Keys, you can't beat that crazy price of $349 or $499. When it comes to the interactive play-along experience, having fun, the Go Keys 5 just allows you to enjoy a very accessible interactive play-along experience with the auto chords, with the, Bluetooth and things such as that. The touch performance pads, JUNO D has its pads, and that is one of the places that Go Keys 5, unfortunately, does not have the up over the JUNO D. There are no pads that give you the ability to experiment and have fun, but nonetheless, it has other things, like its easily accessible arranger section. It doesn't have a sequencer, but think about it as a blessing. The sequencer takes away the need for more study. So it distills it into a very accessible, consumable palette of possibilities. In that regard, I don't begrudge Go Keys one bit, right? Sleek design, very modern. I featured that on the channel. The buttons are oval. They're friendly, round and oval. You can't go wrong with that. And I mean the color. I have to be honest, the Go Keys colors are such a draw. The color of the JUNO D, it comes just in black, and oh my goodness, it's just like every other keyboard. It just looks boring. It has no character in terms of look. And I know that the JUNO D fans may not like me saying that, but I like the fact that I can have Go Keys in turquoise, in red, in white, in granite. I mean, come on. So you gotta pick your poison. Choose your own adventure. You know, you can go for both keyboards. There ain't nothing wrong in that. I have keyboards that are all black, no fancy colors. In fact, I want to say that other than the Oasis and the Trident, the Go Keys 5 is my only other keyboard that is not a black keyboard, colored keyboard. My Ensoniq is black, my Yamaha Motif XF8, my DGX 670. Yeah, same old. So I like a little bit of character difference in the colors. But, my friends, if you were going to make a choice between the Roland JUNO D synthesizer, you got to remember it's a synthesizer, so the priceless controls on the left, you don't have that in your Go Keys, right? You don't have the ability to add cutoff, resonance, attack. You don't have that luxury. You don't have the ability to do many of the things that it can. But with that said, which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments. I hope this gave you some insights and inkling into which keyboard to get. If you are a beginner and you want a weighted keyboard, I would say this may not be the best choice for you. If you are a beginner and you don't know much about synth and you just want a few good piano and electric piano and string sounds, yeah, you can find something in the $300-400 range. This would be for more serious musicians, people performing on stage, and those who actually know what they're doing, because the technicality in this keyboard, yeah, it's not for babies. I hope this gave you some insights and some things to think about. I'll see you in the next video.